Coach, progress, whatever day practice this is, 11, 12, whatever it is, your thoughts about how it's coming?
That was good. Obviously, yesterday was the first day of school, so we give them the day off because obviously that's kind of a change in routine. And in my experience, it had not been great practices anytime they're on the first day of school. And so, but today was our first day practicing in the afternoon, right, coming off of school and academics and all that. And so you kind of notice a little bit of a transition, right? I mean, because obviously their minds are spent half the day on academics, not just football all day, every day. And so that's good. We got to get into this routine. And obviously we're progressing nicely. We'll see what we look like on Saturday in the scrimmage.
How much is that part of the goal, I guess, as you approach game week to kind of get players in their routine and understand kind of what it's like in the season as opposed to maybe the last couple of weeks?
Again, that's why next week we're going to do essentially simulate the following week, which is game week, right? So full scout team schedule, exactly the same, everything the same. Go to the hotel next weekend on Friday night. You try to essentially get a dress rehearsal of what it's actually going to really be. So that way, if there's any kinks, you work them out beforehand instead of having to deal with the distractions and issues on your game.
As you start mock week, how close do you feel like you are to nailing down starters?
We still got a ways there. I mean, in some of the returning positions, I can tell you Buki Watson's going to be a starter, right? I can tell you that pretty good. I can tell you Crumity, I can tell you Will Rogers, Woody Marks, right? So some of those battles, right, you kind of know, but the other ones, they'll play out all the way through mock week, yeah.
Do you like that? Do you like having battles play out?
I kind of like them to play. I kind of like them to play out all through the season, right? You kind of want a hungry football team. You want hungry football players, and so, and obviously that's how it works too. If you win the starting job and then you don't play good in games, bet you there's a good chance someone else is starting next week. So I mean, the reality of it is that competition's always ongoing.
Talked a lot about Mike Wright in different ways you guys can use him in the offense. What's it meant having a guy who's had SEC starting experience, probably could have gone and started somewhere, to kind of come in and embrace whatever role it is that you guys give to him?
Yeah, I mean, experience is incredibly valuable, right? I mean, anytime you've started games in this league, you know the level of defense you're going to face week in and week out, and you've won games as a starter. That's a huge asset to the program. So to have both him and Will, obviously that allows us to do some things package-wise, offensively. But also have really confidence that no matter who's in there, you got a guy leading the offense who knows what it takes to win.
Are there any position battles that you've watched so far this fall that you've most enjoyed watching?
I don't know. Everyone talks about the same linebacker position, right? But I've highlighted that some defensive ends have flashed some stuff where maybe even have us considering whether playing with a full-time Sam is the right move. We got a whole host of combinations being played at safety and cornerback. There's more on the defensive side than the offensive side because there's less returning guys, right? And so it's been good to see. I don't think we're playing a high quality of defense all the time, and so you throw in a new combination and see if you play any better.
How steady has Woody been in that running back group? Because now he's got some guys that can take snaps away from him, but what kind of leadership has he shown?
Yeah, Woody's personally my kind of favorite type of leader. He's not a whole lot of talking rah-rah. It's just show up every day consistently, take care of business, do your work, lead by example. So I know he's extremely well thought of by everyone on the team.
Will's
saw
doing
the development of guys like Albert Reese and Percy Lewis. Obviously, when they came in, the size is what caught a lot of people's eyes. But where have you seen them grow, throughout the spring and out here in fall camp?
Well, obviously they're learning new schemes, right? And so with that, there's new techniques and critical to executing those schemes. I think both guys are workers, right? We need them to both develop and be guys this year. I mean, you need to have a deep offensive line, right? So we need those guys. And there's some position battles for the starting five on the offensive line, and those guys are right in the mix for that, right? So we'll see how that shakes out over the next week and a half or so. But no matter what, we need those guys to be ready to play because their number's going to get called this year.
Will's doing his thing and Mike's doing his thing. And Chris, he's zipping the ball around, doing some good things. What's the competition like between those three guys?
I imagine if you're a quarterback, you're a competitor like anything else, right? You want to be the guy who's the most accurate or have the best day completions to number of attempts, and so I think there's good competition there. Again, we just keep preaching to Chris. He's got a heck of an opportunity to learn under two guys who have started and won games in this league, right? Pick their brain, ask them advice, and then obviously go out there and challenge them. So it's been good in that room.
Are you more satisfied now with the depth of the defensive line after several practices, seeing some guys like Dinkins and others coming on like the way they are?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about our depth. I mean, I think we were penciling out on the board, and we feel like there's 8 or 9 guys we put up there that we know, you could throw in a game and they're going to know what to do. They're not just going to have look like a fish out of water, and so that's been good. I'd like us to be more dominant, cause more disruption up there. Just getting lined up and knowing what to do doesn't necessarily mean you're doing it well. So we got to do it better. But yeah, I think we're coming along. Coach Turner's done a nice job.
What's the focus the next 2 days ahead of the scrimmage?
Right now, it's probably not. It's less install and then kind of clean up what we've put into this point. Obviously, there's been a lot of install on both sides, and then so that way on Saturday, it's okay. We've reviewed for a couple days. There should be no questions about what to do, how to do it, right? Where to line up, where your eyes should be, blah blah blah, right? All that kind of pre-snap stuff. Now it's go out and play so we can evaluate who are our most explosive players.